into the aircraft and check all the papers of the aircraft and ensure that all the certificates are there. All like the tech log is a legal document. You check, and when you find that the aircraft is serviceable, you now sign on the tech log, and then the process continues. The pilot now does his internal checks after the exterior check, does internal check, and then start the engines. The engine parameters are okay, and then he taxis the aeroplane and ready to take off. And in fact, there's a stage in which even during the takeoff, you can abandon takeoff. That's happened several times.
Do you get this report when these checks, as a chief pilot, do you get this report?
What report is that?
The reports of the checks that are being done by the engineers.
Yeah,
do you, as a chief pilot, see the reports?
Yes. You see, we have a quality department headed by a quality manager. So what happens is that if there is a particular defect, because I, as the chief pilot, my primary aim is to ensure that this welfare of the pilot is taken care of. Then we have somebody who is a safety manager. Unfortunately, he was the co-pilot on that flight. He ensures that the aircraft is safe for flight. That means all the documentation is checked. Then the quality manager, has all the technical record and defects. All the components change on an aircraft during maintenance. They are all with the quality manager. So the report comes to me, overall report comes to me when you have problems, especially when the pilots are complaining. They come to me and say, Captain, we have this, we have that, and how do we take care of it?
Are you confirming to us that there has been never any situation where, pilots have had to manage a plane to a destination?
Even in this airline that I have,
yes,
I belong to,
yes,
no.
What about your experience as a pilot? Have there been situations where, maybe something very minor is wrong with the plane and a pilot is told to manage till he or she gets to destination?
Yes, I have, but not, it's what, the accident reports that I have read, but not in airlines that I have been to. I was, the first airline I joined after leaving the Air Force was Nigeria Airways. After Nigeria Airways, I flew with Dana Air to Cabo Air. I've not had a situation where a pilot said reluctantly he is taking off with an aircraft that is not good to fly or airworthy to fly. We are talking about airworthiness. And I'll just let you know the meaning, of airworthiness. Airworthiness is a kind of system in which you ensure that aeroplane is serviceable and safe to fly. And it's a continuous process. It's not a process in which you say you have done airworthiness, you've given, assessment, you've given an aircraft the license to go, and then you stop there. Airworthiness is continuous.
So it came as a total shock to you when you heard that this particular flight crash landed just about 2 minutes immediately after takeoff?
Yeah, you see, there are various 2 minutes, 1 minute. You see, all these are just speculation. But we don't want to. You see, we have, thank God that they say they have found those boxes you call black boxes. They have found them. Those ones will determine when the aeroplane was airborne, when it crashed. So let us not preempt, all this, and don't let us listen to rumors, because a lot of rumors fly around, and it spoils the mind of the families of those who are, bereaved.
Yeah, well, maybe we don't know the exact time, but considering the location from the point of takeoff, we know that it was soon after it took off that it crash landed. Okay. We can say that.
I agree with you.
We can say that safely. So most of the people will definitely question if there were indicators as to the safety, the safety of that particular aircraft before it was taken into the sky.
Anything can happen. A safe aeroplane can crash. Imagine the Concorde aircraft that crashed in Paris. Everything was okay. And that's one of the things I just want to discuss here. Safety is not only about aircraft. Safety is about everything. Supposing there was debris on the runway that the aeroplane ingested into the engine and that caused the failure, is that not possible? The Concorde crashed because an aircraft, deposited debris on the runway, and negligence of the airport authority there. When an aircraft has landed and they are supposed to check and make sure that the runway is clear for takeoff. But somebody was not doing his job, and another aeroplane came in, and then they had some debris on the runway that busted the tire, and as a result of the busted tire, it hit the tank, and the process continues. So anything could have caused that accident. So let us not start speculating that it was because the aircraft was unserviceable. Let us allow AIB to determine that for us.
Yeah, we'll allow AIB, no doubt. But, the car example is what I wanted us to see if you can actually, disabuse from the minds of Nigerians. If you have a car that has been parked for a number of years, even if my mechanic had to do a check on it, I wouldn't put that car on the road, say, from Lagos to Benin. I'll have to perhaps test it around cities or town before you put it on the road.
You're right.
So people are talking, saying that if this airline or this particular ill-fated aircraft has been on the ground for this X amount of years, we shouldn't have actually started flying with passengers in it.
Yeah, but the way you are saying it as if that was the first flight. That wasn't the first flight. The aircraft had gone, when the checks were completed, the pilots did flight tests, and the NCA certified the aeroplane. After that, it had done 2 flights. The last flight before this one was to Azare. Azare is a small airstrip, and it went and came back successfully. And before the last flight, checks were made, and the engineer certified that the aircraft was okay. During the startup,
that was the A check.
The A check was done. The B check too, after a month, you do a B check. After the B check, you do A check. Because it's a weekly thing, the A check. So after the last flight, there was a B check. And after the B check, there was an A check. And after the A check, the captain had to now, certify the aircraft himself. And, the process is a long one. Before you get to the point of takeoff, you have the engine running. Sometimes they keep you at the holding point for 10, 15 minutes because of heavy traffic. And at that time, if there is, you see, that's the problem. The engine, may not have any problem. You can take off and you have a problem.
For this aircraft, for this particular aircraft, the Embraer aircraft, how many engines does it carry?
It has 2 engines.
2 engines?
Yes.
But it can also fly with one?
You see, yes, they build it. You see, if you have twin engine aircraft, it's certified by the manufacturer that if an engine fails, because there's something in flying we call decision speed. That decision speed is a speed in which you decide whether to continue the flight or not to continue the flight. So if anything happens before that speed, you have to continue because you don't have enough runway to stop. So let's say it's an engine failure, 1 engine is enough to take that aeroplane. But you see, that is something that we have to really look at. I want to leave the issue with the accident investigators.
can we talk about then the manpower, the men that do these checks? Do you have enough manpower? And how much of training and retraining do they go through?
When you talk about manpower of those who work on the aeroplane, you see, Associated Airlines is a small airline. They have their maintenance organization. But you are also allowed to have like an organization that work with you. So we have a situation where...
Like a technical partner.
Exactly. So we also have a technical partner. I just came back from Jordan. One of the aircraft was in Jordan for the C check because we don't have the ability or capability to do it here. In the old Nigeria Airways days, they had the capability of doing up to D check for some categories of aircraft. But as of now, things have degenerated that we have to carry all our aircraft abroad, including the big ones like Arik. They have to go abroad to do their major checks. So we have partners.
Okay. So how often?
In fact, there are times we take this aircraft to Brazil to go and do the major checks.
Yeah, the makers of the aircraft.
Yes.
Okay. Aside from your technical partners, in your organization, you have people that do these checks as well, the engineers.
Yeah.
So how often, how capable would you say they are? Can you rate them?
You see, when you say capable, the airline itself is completely audited by NCA. That means if you are not right for the job, they pull you out. They tell the management of the airline that we don't accept this person. If I'm not capable of being the chief pilot with my CV, NCA will tell the management of my airline, say, please, this man is not capable of doing this job. Please get somebody else. So that is how the engineers' issues are also.
And the NCA has been working with the Associated Airlines.
We have engineers, pilots attached to all airlines by NCA because we have all these parallel, people like pilots and engineers in NCA. So we have all these people attached to all the airlines, monitoring.
Captain, I must say, just one last question for you from me. To the best of your knowledge, considering the history of this aircraft, I mean, from what you know, you don't think that there's anything that you know that could possibly have caused this crash?
No. It has a good history. It has a good history. Because we've not had anything. I told you it went to, Azare. It went to another flight, and this is just the unfortunate flight. And we are not happy because we are just coming up. Considering the level of investment the owner of the airline has put in, I feel so, in fact, very sad for both what happened to the families and the owner of the airline.
A quick one here before we go. You have any word for the families and in terms of insurance?
Yeah, before I go into that, I would like to say something about the situation at the airport itself. Because if I don't say it here, then I will never say it. I give an example of the day the pilots were going on flight, they had no parking space. Can you imagine in an airport, many years ago when I was in Nigeria Airways, all the crew had parking lots. If you are going on a flight and you are stressed, I'm not saying that's the cause of the accident. They were stressed already. They have to be going about I will tell you now, the pilot couldn't get a parking space. He has to go and beg Concorde Airline to take his vehicle. And I face the same thing every day. So psychologically, nobody thinks about what is happening to the pilots. Even the airlines, the management of the airline. I don't know where
you're talking about
airlines are.
Parking space for vehicles.
For crew are not available. But when you get there, you will see parking space for car hire, parking space for oil companies, because all they are interested in is the revenue. When we get inside, we pay 200 naira, but we still don't have parking spaces.
I think it's something that the
we
management...
have to really look at that.
I'm hoping they're watching, and FAN specifically should also react to that. We'll get to Yakubu Dati to react to that. We'd like to thank you so very much, Captain Mohammed Badamosi, Chief Pilot for Associated Airline. Many thanks for coming on Sunrise Daily.
Thank you very much.
Well, now for us to go to the news studios. Sorry, I took much of your time, Cynthia. Over to you now.
Good morning.